Good morning and welcome to your Weekend Healthy Chat. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Sara, and today we have another great show lined up for you. Our first guests are from the Tri-State Pregnancy Center, and here with us we have Tom Mortenson and Elisa Yoast. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. So thank you for being on the show. So let's get started. So tell me a little bit about what the Tri-State Pregnancy Center is and how you both became involved with it.
The Tri-State Pregnancy Center is located in Milford, Pennsylvania, 4 miles past Port Jervis, behind Primetime Meats. And the Tri-State Pregnancy Center exists to provide emotional, physical, and spiritual support for men and women facing unplanned pregnancies. We also have a Earn While You Learn program for women in need, where they can come and take some lessons on all sorts of variety of different topics and earn baby bucks to shop in our in our store, if you will, to provide some of the physical needs for their children.
Oh, wow. And what are the different classes that are offered?
Oh, there's actually quite a few. They're about 20-minute long DVD that they'll watch with a counselor, and then they have a worksheet they'll go over the counselor with, and they run the gambit from budgeting to parenting to prenatal care to shopping, food preparation.
That's an excellent service to have.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So we have our primary focus, and then we have that secondary program, and they dovetail very well.
Great. Now, how long has the center been in existence?
23 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. Now, who are the people that make up the Tri-State Pregnancy Center?
The Pregnancy Center is volunteer run. We have one paid staff, the executive director. That actually is in flux at this time. Right now we have an interim director. So that's kind of why I'm here and she's not. But we know that'll all work out and be right. Just like every organization goes through different changes. But the center is made up of a board of directors, all volunteer.
Great.
And then the day-to-day, the people, the feet on the ground, is the director. That's our one paid position. And then many volunteers, men and women, that just care about women, care about kids, care about women and men facing a very difficult time in their lives and want to be part of the solution.
Well, that's fantastic with the amount of volunteer support. That's great.
Yeah. And our funding, I don't want to neglect that, is volunteer as well, because we're all grassroots funded mostly through churches and just networking, and again, similar to all of our volunteers who are there, just people that want to be part of the solution.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now, what are the reasons why clients call the Pregnancy Center?
It varies. It does vary. It could be again a crisis pregnancy, or an unplanned pregnancy, right. And the fear and the uncertainty that comes into that emotional issue. A lot of our clients are women that are having a hard time, and we network extensively with area social services, and they refer clients to us a lot for our Earn While You Learn program.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of women calling, hey, can you help us with diapers? Can you help me with formula? Can you help me with baby food, baby clothes, all those sort of material needs? I'd say that makes up the bulk of our clients, those two situations. We do offer post-abortion support. We want to be there for a woman who has had an abortion and is suffering just some emotional consequences from that. We want to be there for her and help her through that time as well. So those are primarily our three types of clients.
Sure. Now, what type of information do you provide at the center?
We are a counseling facility. We're not a medical facility. So we would sit down with a woman. We do offer a free over-the-counter pregnancy test to confirm a pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
And we do have provide that service. Sometimes we actually get girls in that need that paperwork to proceed proceed with the social services that they are applying for. But we do provide counseling in that time of need for the mom, and the couple at times, for that situation where this is an unplanned pregnancy. That's a very difficult time in a woman's life, in a couple's life. And so we want to just kind of slow down and be there for them and help explore the 3 options that they have at that time.
Right.
And that's kind of what we say to them. You have 3 options. You can have an abortion at this time. You can choose to parent, or you can consider making an adoption plan. And so we want to explore those 3 avenues that they have before them, and just be there for them during that time. And if they choose to parent, we want to help them navigate social services, which can be tricky.
Oh, absolutely.
And can be intimidating.
Absolutely. The paperwork alone.
Right. Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for you guys, very grateful for the service that you provide. No, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. It's very difficult. If they choose to make an adoption plan, we want to be there. Again, this is a very difficult time in someone's life. And so we want to be there for them to discuss those options. We network with an open adoption agency.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited. Personally, I feel that adoption is such a wonderful option, and I'm thrilled for the direction the country's moving in with the with the options that are available in that choice of adoption. And so open adoption has really changed the face of adoption in this country.
Absolutely.
It's so much healthier for the birth mother, for the child, for the adoptive family. And so I'm excited for that, and I love that, and I would love to see that choice grow for women and for families in our community. And then we do discuss abortion with them. They know we do not perform or refer for abortions, but we discuss that option with them and want them to be aware. Absolutely. What that entails, we want them to be informed. We want them to make an informed choice. We also want them to know the resources that are available to them.
Right. Now, what is the typical age groups of your callers?
Childbearing women. You'd be surprised. We have, unfortunately, very young girls, and that's not a situation that we like to see, but it is a reality of our world today.
Do some of them come in with their parents?
Often. Yep, often. And we always, obviously, if you're talking about a minor, we always want to involve the parents. I mean, that's just the right thing to do. But we do see some young girls, and then we have, women as old as not old, but in their 40s. That there really is no. I think it is scary as a teenager to be facing an unplanned pregnancy.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've seen women in some very, very challenging, difficult situations when they're in their 30s.
Absolutely.
Really, just some really hard things out there. Yeah. Difficult situations, scary situations, crisis situations. So we just want to be there to be a sounding board, to be a support, to be a caring face, a caring place in a time of great personal crisis.
Absolutely. It sounds like a lot of emotional support, which is great.
If I could just jump in there, one of the functions that I've been given is that frequently a couple will show up, and not just a young woman. And when the couples show up, it's kind of my job to speak to the guys, and they're in as much crisis as their partners, and so we are able to give them counsel, give them encouragement, and just to be able to give them hope.
Right, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what are the hours at the center?
I would say the best way, because we are volunteer driven, our hours fluctuate.
Okay.
So we have a couple, some of my favorite counselors are snowbirds. So they leave us in the winter and it breaks my heart.
Right.
But they do come back to us in the spring.
Go ahead.
But I'd say we are open daily, but the hours vary, unfortunately. It's just...
So how would someone get a hold of you to see when?
Our website.
Okay.
We have a 24-hour line as well.
We do.
So what are those?
Yeah.
What's the website address and the hotline
Okay.
number?
Our website is www.tristatepregnancycenter.org.
Great.
And that's updated regularly with our hours. And then our phone number is 570-491-5151. And that's checked frequently. I would say more than daily.
Wow, that's
But again,
great.
the center is open daily. It's just those hours will fluctuate depending on volunteer
around.
availability. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you both for being with us today. We appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you
so much.
so much.
For providing such a much-needed asset to our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
And we'll
been
be
our
right
pleasure.
back after this. Welcome back. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Here with us now is Melissa McCoy, who's the Director of Corporate Initiatives at Elant. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. So to get started, tell us a little bit what Elant is and how you became involved.
I've been with the Elant for the past 3.5 years, and I was brought in to work on a number of things, including the Elant Foundation and the fundraising efforts that we do for the Elant services and programs, but also to service community outreach, such as an activity that we're doing now to really share the mission and the work of Elant, let the community better know who we are and what we do, and who we care for. That's the primary mission is the care that we provide out to the community, and it is a kind of a unique, specific service and housing solutions. A lot of different programs that many people are still learning about. As yourself, we were talked about quite often. People recognize the name, but they're not quite sure what the services are.
And what are the services that Elant provides?
It's pretty broad. If you, let's say even if I fell and I broke a hip and I had to rehabilitate, I could go to Elant and receive rehabilitation services.
Oh, great.
So we look to either maintain an individual or restore them back to optimal life and getting back to the lifestyle that they once knew. Sometimes that isn't necessarily the case, and there's some other needs, whether it's a daily ongoing service or a long-term care. But to kind of encapsulate some of them, there's skilled nursing care, subacute care and rehab, assisted living, retirement living, adult daycare, which we can talk a little bit more about, managed long-term care programs, home health services, and all kind of governed by our Elant medical practice. It's kind of unique that we have our own doctors in-house that watch and are continually familiar with the individuals that are there so that they can recognize when someone's not quite themselves or something's changing, and the staff can report and kind of continual watching and caring and knowing when things need to be adjusted or they foresee something coming.
Right, absolutely. That sounds like quite the amount of services that are provided.
It is. So, if an individual chooses to live at home, when they may need some care, the adult daycare program may be a great fit for either.
Now, what is that?
Well, let's say an individual may be wheelchair bound or need oxygen or maybe diabetic care or other medical care, but they're not able to necessarily keep on top of those or provide them themselves at home. So they may be picked up at home in the morning, brought to one of our locations, whether Goshen or Middletown and some other locations. Newburgh. And they can then have socialization. They can have their meals. Their medical needs may be addressed. Lots of great programming goes on with them to make it an optimal day.
Absolutely.
And then at the end of the day, they can go home. Quite often that's because maybe their family members leave the home and then there's no one there to care for them. So that gives them that choice. In other instances where we have our adult home, individuals are a little bit more mobile, independent, but they still might need some attention and care. Maybe not able to cook for themselves, so that gives them a independent lifestyle and kind of an apartment life without all the extra care that might be needed in a typical nursing environment.
Absolutely. Now, where are the Elant programs located?
Our facilities are located in Goshen, which is Elant at Goshen, which has a group of those services from subacute care, dementia care, the adult day program, and some others, rehabilitation. In Goshen as well, Glenarden is our continuing care retirement community.
Oh, okay.
So that's where someone's coming in very independent, taking on an apartment as well as the lifestyle and healthcare package. Then we're over in Elant at Meadow Hill. Again, a full service spectrum of our programs there. We're at Elant at Wappingers Falls, Elant at Fishkill.
Oh, wow.
And then again, it's kind of scattered throughout Dutchess, Orange, down into Rockland are those community health programs such as Elant Choice, and their primary base is in the city of Newburgh.
And what's Elant Choice?
Elant Choice is part of our managed long-term care programs. individuals who meet specific criteria who want to choose to live at home in their community, but need socialization and a number of other programs, can apply to Elant Choice, sign up through the MLTCP, and they may come to our adult social day center for activities. They will receive services. They may individual may come to their home, coordinate care to go to certain doctors. So again, it gives them the independence of living on their own rather than in a residential
still having
setting.
Assistance as needed.
Exactly. And there's a lot of governmental programming that kind of ties into that. So that's based in Newburgh, and that's growing greatly. It's been mandated by the state that it rolls out, and it started in Manhattan. And it's coming up. It's going through Orange County and into Dutchess. So there is a requirement for those individuals to register with an MLTCP. And our program is growing rapidly and having great success.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, what might the community not know or fully understand about Elant?
We are not-for-profit.
Okay.
Quite often, individuals don't realize that.
Yeah.
You will get from, is it primarily for those in great need financially? Is it for the elite? And I hate to hear both of those.
Right.
It's for our community.
Everyone. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it is a really vital resource. I'm sure you are aware that the demographics of our region, they're getting older, and there's a lot more of us. I'll include us. I'm on that baby boomer cluster that they refer to. And so the demand for these types of resources are increasing, are going to increase very, very quickly. There's those who haven't taken as good a care of themselves and will need those services sooner than later. But where we used to see 60s, 70s into 80s coming to need our services, there's 70s, 80s, 90s and into the hundreds. So they're living longer, but there's more of them.
Yeah.
So any programs or services that are in the community or residentially based, the demand is going to increase.
Wow.
And we're close to home. I think that's one thing. We just completed a new video, which is an exciting new resource for us to share with the community. And very profoundly from the testimonials was that people want to be near their families, or they moved back here because their daughter was here, so that they can have that visitation.
Which is understandable.
So it's about making those choices. So it's in our region, and we want to keep those families together. So it's important. And from the foundation side, the fundraising that goes on, we turn obviously right back into our programs and to maintain this resource.
That's great. Now, what is aging in place? I've heard that. So what does that mean?
Well, it can mean a lot of things. Most people will view aging in place is your place is your home.
Right.
That you exist and reside in right then, and you want to age in place. Most people refer to it that way.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that that's always the most optimal situation.
Right.
It's probably one of the largest and most challenging issues for families making some changes.
Right.
And, we go from living at home, we have to go to college. That's still a hard transition.
Yeah.
If from college to your own home, or moving with a career to another location. They're all changes in life.
Yeah.
So if we look at this as it's another step, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It can mean that it could be actually enhancing a situation.
Right.
So aging in place, for most people, they say, I want to stay in my home. But limitations, maybe for mobility reasons, safety, there isn't someone around to help them when they may start to have maybe signs of dementia or other situations. It doesn't mean that the family who wants to care for them is the best care for them. And that's a hard choice to get to that point.
Absolutely.
So when aging in place can be in a different place, but it could also be much more optimal. So what's great with Elant services is we have such a diverse platform of offerings, because aging in place can be in the place that you know, or you can make that transition to a new place in the next step. And it's really about having the right resources that are needed to give the optimal life, as well as the best services and protection for that individual to live optimally.
No, that's great. Now, how would someone find out all the different resources that are available? Like, is there a website or a phone number to call?
Absolutely. They can go to www.elant.org. We also have an 800 number that goes right to our placement services, and that allows them to speak with someone and learn more.
Oh, great.
That number is 1-800-501-3936. And quite often, individuals may be thrown into a very imminent decision-making process. And I think that's the hardest. Mom or dad might be in the hospital and they say, well, they need to go somewhere for a couple of weeks while they rehab or they're getting back on their feet before they can go home.
Right.
And they're usually presented with 3 choices through the hospital. And let's say Elant was certainly probably one of their choices. And now the family's running around to try and find out. Yeah. I think it's beneficial to families to, when you start to see some aging or you just think, I need to be intelligent, and let's plan ahead. Look at facilities, be proactive way before it's needed, because then you can make a really...
Be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly, and make a more timely, intelligent, decision from location to the types of services. And I think what they will find is look at the staff as much as the facility. Yeah. Because mom and dad aren't looking at the wallpaper on the walls or everything. No. We have beautiful facilities, but it really comes down to that professional care of what they're getting each day.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us today and filling us in on Elant and what it provides for the community. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back after this. And now it's time in our show for the email question of the week. And this mom writes, Dr. Sara, my son last weekend had his first tick bite. Not sure how long tick was on him, but everyone says to watch for the rash. He did have redness at the site after we removed the tick, but I'm unclear on what the rash looks like that I should be watching for. Help, please. Great question, as we've been seeing lots of tick bites in the office already. So